Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to tell you about this podcast. It's called The DK Project, but it's really The Darren Show. The DK Project is a radio show, but without the radio. So sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
Let's go!
Welcome, podcast listeners, to another episode of the DK Project. On the horn, zooming in, is the trusty co-pilot, Kristen the Greek. What's happening, lady?
Greek. Nothing much. I finally stopped almost shedding like a snake from being burnt at the beach, but that's about it.
Oh my gosh, how long does that last?
Like 2 weeks. I still have some. I was taking pictures and sent it to my friends. I said, look at this new skin I have coming through.
So do you have, like, you know how, like, when you go to people's houses, they have, like, the snake skin that they found in the desert laying on your mantle? How bad did you get burned? Is this I'm
telling you, the snakes are actually lucky that they shed it all in one turn, because mine has literally been like almost 2 weeks. It's still a little bit in my arms and my legs. That's when I wake up in the morning. It's nasty. There's like skin on my sheets. It's horrible. I feel disgusting. I'm not going to lie.
That's gross. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But besides that, everything's been great.
Welcome to No Filter Radio, where we talk about whatever the hell we want. Gross or not gross. Hey, I got a little situation that came up last week. I got and I don't know if I don't think we talked about this, but I got I had to switch some bookkeeping stuff, so I got a new version of Quickbooks. I had to update my Quickbooks, all this professional shit. And, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to mess around going to buy it at Best Buy. I'm just going to call and get it from them, and they'll have a dude zoom into my computer. Did we talk about this?
No, we did not.
Oh, that's right, because last week we had Tommy
Chong.
That was awesome. So anyway, I got that. I call them, and they're like, okay, so you got to do this with your credit card. Put your credit card in here and pay for it, and then we'll work on the download. Is it all right if we share, if I zoom into your computer or whatever the hell they call it? I'm like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. And it's like QuickBooks. It's a huge company. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. He goes, put your credit card in. I'm like, oh, okay. So I put my credit card in, and it goes, declined. I'm like, that's not possible. He goes, you're going to get a text. Make sure you approve the text. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I get this text, and I hit approve because it's like my bank going fraud. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Holy shit.
So then I get into, okay, so rerun it. I just hit okay, and he goes, nope, still declined. He goes, you got to call your bank. I'm like, I don't need to call my bank. I know my bank really well. I'm not worried about it. And and he goes, well, you got to call him. So I'm like, all right, hold on. So I put him on hold, and I just kind of waited, and I didn't call. And so I figured it took a little time for it to get approved. So anyway, he comes back, or I get back on the line. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I know I'm good. And he tries it again. He goes, no, you have to call your bank. I'm like, all right. So I call my bank, and I'm like talking to my people, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And they're like, yeah, the fraud people, hit the alert. And even though you approved it, it looks really suspicious because it's like from India. And I'm like, yeah, I know the guy, whatever, just do it. So anyway, I finally get through that phase, which is a little weird. And he's in here setting up my shit, and he's doing all this stuff in my computer. And he's like, you shouldn't save all these logins and passwords in here, because I have like some of the Google stuff that saves it, so I don't have to remember it. I got 7,000 different logins. Yeah. Just like everybody else. And he's like a Middle Eastern dude, and he goes, you shouldn't save those in there. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, should I get like a password keeper or whatever? And he goes, we can get into anything. I'm like, fuck.
Oh my God.
You're in here right now. You're in my computer, and you're seeing all this. So now I'm like, basically I'm standing here naked going, what do you want me to do, dude? Like, geez Christ, you can't do that. You can't talk about stealing my shit when you're in my shit.
Oh my God. He has a lot of balls, I'm not going to lie. Well, that's a little nerve-wracking.
What was really weird, though, is he was like, he was from India, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But his name was Steve.
Hey, there are Indian guys named Steve, okay?
Yeah, right. Bullshit. So anyway, he gives me his phone number. He goes, if you have problems with any of this stuff, you let me know. You just give me a call at this number. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like,
late night calls.
Normally you're like going into a 1-800 dial-a-phone thing where you don't know who you're going to get. And sure, now I got Steve's number, and he's like, you just call me whatever you want, but no, don't worry about the password keeper thing. He goes, you should just keep all this stuff somewhere else. It shouldn't be here. And I'm like, well, I'm completely fucked now, so do what you want to do.
It's Jake from State Farm, those commercials that you see. He's calling late at night. What are you wearing?
That's exactly it. It's me, Steve. Steve, you sick bastard, get away from me. So yeah, I don't know. I disconnected and then I like quick turn my computer off and stuff, and I'm like, what do I do now?
Bye.
Like, oh shit. Watch the bank accounts get deflated. Whatever. Take it all.
Oh my God.
It's
At least you
ridiculous.
didn't find any nudes,
That's what he's looking for, to blow it up. Well, I got news for you, buddy. I don't go anywhere I shouldn't go with that computer. Because assholes like him are going to get in it. I'm like, oh, nothing. No bad press. Hey, I'm driving the other day. And I'm going on this exit. God, there's so many freaking homeless people. I'm using the air quotes because they appear to be homeless, but they're not always homeless. They're more like, some people it's a job, like you do pretty well sitting on the corner.
Oh yeah, they're
getting the money.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I don't normally get involved with that, but this dude, it's kind of a wealthy mall area where I was at, and the dude's on the corner and he's just rocking the saxophone. And he wasn't like homeless looking or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there I pull up and all of a sudden the light turned, so I didn't have time. I was like, normally I look at him and I'm like, yeah, where's your Beamer parked? This kind of thing. But this guy rolled up and I saw him and I heard him and my hand was on my wallet. I'm like, I got to give this guy money. Like, he's just out rocking. But then the light turned and I didn't have time to slow down. But I'm thinking to myself, I almost felt like I'd be insulting him. Like, he's just hanging out jamming.
Yeah.
And I'm throwing money at him like he looks homeless. That's almost insulting to him. Like, hey, buddy, you look a little homeless. Here's the 20. Go shine up your saxophone. So luckily, but I was looking around. I'm like, God, do I circle back? Like,
yeah.
He's whatever. Then there was a lady this morning, and it's 2 lanes turning to the left, and there's a lady standing there, and it's like a mom or somebody. She's, I don't know, probably 50. And she's like, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I just fell in hard times. And, she's kind of homelessly looking. And all of a sudden, this dude hops out and runs in front of my car, and he gives her a kind bar, like a granola bar. And I'm like, fuck, I want one. I put my hand up. I'm like, yo, I'll take a bar. I didn't get any breakfast this morning. I haven't showered either, so I look homeless. Hook me up, buddy. You got any fresh coffee in that rig? Jesus.
Very nice.
It's a problem. It's truly a problem. I'm like, oh, you know what? I had notes in my phone about bikes in the road, and I don't know if I was watching a show or if I was watching the news, but they showed this thing about this guy who ran down some bikers. You know how you drive by these cyclists on the side of the road? You're like, I just want to hit him with the door. Just get out. Well, this guy just creamed him. Like there weren't even like bikes left. It was like a pile of bike parts. He hit him so hard with the car.
Oh my God.
And I don't think the people died or anything. I'm going to say that for the story because otherwise I'm a prick. But but it was like, there's just like a pile of bike stuff laying on the side of the road.
Holy
and they tell you this
shit.
news story and you're like, oh man, he took her to the limit. Like hardcore. It was a little overwhelming. I'm like, I don't know, dude. You can't actually do that. We talk about it, but you can't actually do it.
Do you guys have a lot of bike lanes and like cyclists over there? Because I think in New York, it's very extreme over here. It's very extreme over here.
They're trying. We had this one bitch who was on the Minneapolis City Council who, it's constant road construction, but she's a bicyclist, or a cyclist. So they have all these stupid lanes where like driving downtown in a vehicle is a full-time job. Like you got to be paying attention. You got to be looking here, looking there. I mean, there's no possible way you could text or take a phone call because it's like live. Well, then you're going to, what's that? I don't even know where I'm going with it.
I was like,
so then you narrow the lanes down.
Yes.
You narrow the lanes down and put a bike lane in. Now all of a sudden I got this narrower lane and you got a biker. Yep. It's like, Jesus, come on.
Oh my God.
Speaking of which, I was at somewhere the other day working on something. I'm not going to say where I was, but the information that I needed was numbers and letters, and the guy's like, just look it up. Just look it up online. It's a 662, and I'm like, what? So here's my question to you: if you find somebody who stutters aggressively, like actually, I ran into 2 stutters in the last week and a half. One of them, I'm at this, and I'm going to say the name of this place. I'm at a guy store where they sell guy shit because I needed some chain.
Okay.
I went in there to get some chain.
Because you're a man.
I needed it on my anchor. But
Okay.
So I find this dude, and I'm like, hey, man, can you cut some of this chain for me? And he's like, yeah, I can cut the chain,
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need 7 feet. So he lays it out, and he measures it in this completely fucked up way. I'm like, what you have a tape measure. Why are you like half measuring? Like, I don't understand. So I don't know if you've ever seen how they cut chain, but they put this chain in this thing and they got to like, crack.
Yeah.
And pretty soon it just pops. Well, that cuts one side. Well, then you got to cut the other side. Pop. It takes like probably 5-10 minutes to do it and it's a workout. And that's why they do it, because it's not for the faint of heart. So this guy finally gets the chain popped, and he goes, and he's stuttering. He's like, here you go. And he hands me the chain, and I'm like, that's not, what, did you go with the metric 7 feet? That ain't 7 feet. Like, I'm 6'2", 6'3", and it's like below my chin. And he goes,
oh my God.
He goes, that's not 7 feet. I'm like, here we go again. Like, Jesus, dude. So he had to cut it again, but major stutterer. Then I go to this other store. This guy's a major stutterer, and they don't have what I want, so I have to look it up online. And he's stuttering to the point where I'm like, how many times can you ask a stutterer to repeat himself before you just go, we're not going to get this? You just look at him and walk away and go, I got it here. It's here. And just,
I feel so bad.
Oh, yeah, it's so frustrating. And it's weird because this particular guy, I've worked with him for a long time, and it's almost like it's getting progressively worse. Like, I don't know how stuttering works, but I'm sure, just like some people get better at it, some people it gets worse. I don't know. But yeah, there's some homework for you. But so anyway, I'm looking at this product, and they didn't have it. And so he's like, just go online and get it. And he pulled it up on his computer. Here, look, it's right here. And I'm like, okay, which model is it? And he's telling me, and I can't get it. So I finally walk over there and I look, and I'm like, that's not even fucking close to what I thought he was saying. Like, so I took a picture of the box and I just laughed. I'm like, yeah, I got it. We're good. But it was just the weirdest thing. And to find two in one week and a half, that's crazy.
I haven't been around a lot of stutterers, but I feel like my eyes would get really big, and then I might chuckle a little bit. But that's about. I don't know. I gotta be presented. I gotta
ride it out. You know what? My daughter is she's almost fluent in sign language, and
dope.
Yeah, well, and then she started doing this in high school, and I would run into deaf people, like I never run into deaf people, and then all of a sudden I'm at like a burger joint, and the lady's like, doing whatever, and I'm like, oh, and I'm texting my daughter, oh, we got one, but
we got one.
What good am I gonna do? Am I gonna FaceTime her and go, look at this? We were in Mexico, and there was we were in Mexico in a bar, cool little bar, and my daughter notices that there's a gal and another gal sitting over here, and they're signing. So I'm like, oh, you got to go over there and say hi. Like, when else is that going to happen? So she actually did. She went over there and she was saying hi to her or whatever. And then you find out that just like Spanish and English, there's different languages in sign language. She's like, I can't really talk to her because she speaks Spanish sign language. I'm like,
it does make sense. I wouldn't even think about that, though. But it is true. I mean, Spanish people have deaf people, so it does make sense.
I'm sure it's a problem all over the world, but yes.
Sorry.
But that's the same thing. That's the same thing if you're, and I've been saying lately that my dog that doesn't listen to me actually speaks Spanish, and that's why it doesn't understand what I'm saying. But it's the same thing. If you have a dog in Mexico, it understands Spanish.
Yeah, of course. It understands every language.
But how weird is that? Like you teach it, baño, and that it knows that's the bathroom. But yeah,
that's true.
When it comes to America, it's like, what are you doing? Who do you what? They look at you all funny. I don't know. I'm just gonna go right here. I don't know what you're saying. Telling you, there you go. Fun facts right there. I was digging around to see, because we need to do the update on the Olympic sports.
Okay.
Olympic sports.
Do you really watch the Olympics that much? I mean, I really don't watch it when it comes. I could. I'm like whatever.
Well, maybe if you didn't watch the stupid shit we talked about before we got on air.
Hey, this is even outside of the stupid. That is like my little guilty pleasure that I watch. I don't like to tell people I watch it, but still, you know, I mean, that's big news still for a major lawyer to be.
So not only do you watch the shit, you're afraid to tell people you watch it.
Yes,
go ahead.
It's
go ahead. You can have.
Dumb,
I'll
it's
give
entertaining.
You, what am I? I'll mark it. We'll give you 2.5 minutes. Go. Tell your story.
I know. Okay. So
wait a minute. Breaking news on the DK Project.
I can't stand your ass.
You go.
Okay, so we were talking earlier, which Darren did not want to hear my story about Erika Jane, who's on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She is married to the famous lawyer Tom Girardi, who is basically the show Aaron Brockovich is about. He's the one that won this big settlement for all these people that were drinking this contaminated water. People ended up getting cancer, dying, and so basically they've been finding out that he has been basically taken his client's settlement money and then keeps on lying to them. And Erika Jane does have an alter ego. Well, that's her name. Her alter ego is Erika Jane. Her name's Erika Girardi, but she actually is a singer, performs at a bunch of gay clubs. She does techno music, and they find out that basically his company has given her company over $20 million in business loans. Now they're starting to find out that he's been stealing from his clients, and now they're trying to get her in trouble as well, saying she's known about the money being stolen from clients, and she's trying to prove that she's not. But I mean, it's pretty fucked up because there's a documentary called The Housewives and the Hustler, and it's pretty shitty. People that have died in plane crashes, their kids that are supposed to get the settlement money have not been getting it. People that have lost limbs have not getting it. People that were in fires, half their body got burned. That's never really recovered from that, has not been getting their money. And I think it's really fucked up that at the end of the day, he's been stealing from his clients. And now since he got disbarred and now he's getting prosecuted, he's trying to play that he has Alzheimer's, which I think is just out of the blue. Now he has Alzheimer's. He doesn't know, so he can't take care of his estate. And now they're actually selling his estate as well. So I think for like $20 million, they're trying to sell it as soon as possible because the price for his property has been going down lower. But I just think it's just a really fucked up story too. But the reason they got caught is because she got on this television show, and once you're on TV, people start digging into your business, and that's exactly what happened. So I mean, what do you think? I mean, would you be pissed? You were waiting for all this money and you're not going to get it. Your kids are supposed to get this money. You're supposed to get this money, and then I mean, there's some of these settlements were $2 or $3 million. One lady was supposed to get $125,000. This was 8 years ago. Has never even gotten it. I think that's messed up.
Welcome back.
I knew it.
To the DK.
Hey, this is some real. Hey, that's this really. You gotta have. You have to feel for these people. That's really fucked up. I mean, it really is.
What you have just witnessed is referred to as speed talking. Kristen suffers from speed talking. It's the ability to talk really fast when people don't know what you're saying, but you try to get your message across and your brain's going faster than your mouth, but then your mouth catches up and you don't know what to say. Guaranteed not to rust, bust, collect dust, break, chip, or peel. Oftentimes, speed talking is mixed with excessive use of profanity. We at the DK Project are aware of this problem and are working to address the issue as soon as possible.
I gave you 2.5 minutes, and you decided to take 5 minutes of content and put it into 1.25 minutes.
Oh shit! I mean, I do talk fast. So.
I don't get a lot of critiquing of the show, but the one that I do get is that you talk extremely fast.
I talk extremely fast.
So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to translate for the folks what exactly you were talking about. So evidently, there's a Real Housewife of which
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Hi, I'm Ed Cohen. And this lady's husband is an attorney, high-profile attorney, and he was working these cases for these big-name people, big payouts, and he's taking the money?
Yes, he's taking their money.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's taking their money.
I got to think that has extreme ramifications in the in the lawyering world. So he's been disbarred, right? Yeah,
he's getting disbarred. He's being prosecuted now. He did say at one point he had $80 million in cash, and that's all gone. Wow. $80 million in fucking cash, and that's all gone. How do you spend $80 million in cash?
Well, where do you think that?
I think it went into his wife's company. You know, her little alter ego, the little singing career that she was building for a while.
Where do you think you keep a pile of cash like that? Like,
I mean, their mansion is pretty fucking huge. I'm sure they can hide it all over the place, and I'm sure they do have plenty of money hidden away that no one knows about.
Wow. So what's the latest now? Is she still on the show?
She's still on the show. Everything started coming to a head because now the show just started airing the last few weeks, the new season. So they said that the guy Andy Cohen, who created the show, he said he doesn't think this is going to affect her being on the show, but they're trying to say that But they're trying to say that she knew about it. She knew that he was taking money. She's claiming that she didn't know, and they're trying to prove now. And I mean, if you did at the end of the day knew that he's taking this money from these people who actually needed it, it's pretty fucked up at the end of the day.
Well, then on top of that, the restitution's going to be, what do you get? 28 cents for pumping out a license plate when you're in the jug. So
I mean, and like, where are they really going to put him at? They're going to have to separate him from people if he does go away.
You know what? He'll probably be in prison where Tommy was.
That's true.
At the Ha-Ha Hilton,
the rich people prison.
Yeah, exactly. I know that Real Housewives chain has really created some issues. There was the ones from New Jersey who he almost got deported, but they were cranking money out, kind of funny like.
Yep, and I do feel like the judge did make. I don't think he should have been deported, honestly. But the judge just wanted to be an asshole, just to be an asshole. I think he should have been able to stay here, honestly. But whatever, shit happens.
Well, go ahead. And they keep coming out. They keep coming. The only one I've ever watched was I've seen that New Jersey one, but then I watched the Orange County one.
I watched that
which
one,
I think
too.
is like the original one. But I don't know. I thought it was interesting how they started off as just these people who were being filmed, and by the end, that main bitch, that Vicky, she was.
Oh, she was a big Vicky Gunnarsson. She's a psycho.
What an ego on that broad. Holy
I know,
moly.
She's crazy. Yeah, she's crazy. But hey, the world of it now is, I mean, they get paid $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 an episode sometimes. It's insane how much some of these women are making off of it.
Wow, they're not making, it's probably for the season, because I was just
the season of the episode, yeah.
I was just digging into
let me see how much Teresa Giudice makes.
I watch the Deadliest Catch on the Bering Sea. And some of those original captains on that show are getting like $200,000 a season.
Oh, I mean, that's insane.
I mean, that's a nice chunk of change, but it's got to be a complete pain in the ass to have, especially in that environment when it's so dangerous to begin with. And then you've got camera guys running around filming it.
Oh, the women love it, though. The women love being on.
Oh, I'm sure.
They love it.
But that Real Housewife franchise has caused so many divorces, so much criminal activity that it's ridiculous. I'd like to see what the old Andy Cohen's bank account looks like.
Oh, he is.
Plus, he's always with that Anderson Cooper, but they're not an item. They're both gay, and they're always together, but they're not together. What?
Yeah, that's true.
What? Something wrong with that picture. Hey,
I'm going to see who the highest paid housewife is. Go ahead.
Well, I want to move on to our next segment.
Go ahead.
You let us know when you come up with that little nugget.
Yeah.
I want to guess. I bet it's got to be somebody from that Orange County one.
Let's see.
There aren't a lot. There's no originals left. The two main bitches left. And I don't watch the Beverly Hills one.
The Beverly Hills, it's good. It's my guilty pleasure. I hate watching it, but I do. I can't help it.
Jesus. Anyway, we're moving on.
Go ahead.
We are on to my new favorite segment. The Olympics. The Olympics. Yada, yada, yada. Olympics. Insert Olympic sounder here. So I found a website that has the top 10 weirdest Olympic sports of all time.
Okay.
So I figured I've got another list today, but I figured this 10 is worth running through.
Go right ahead.
So have you ever dug into weird Olympic sports?
No, like I said, I've never was super into the Olympics. I watch it at my friends' house. They have it on. I'm that person.
I'm just in it for the snacks.
The snacks.
They don't do snacks for the Olympics like they do for football. That's why I'm a football fan. Number 10. Weirdest Olympic sports of all time. Number 10. At the four Olympic Games between 1928 and 1948, medals were given out for town planning. It fell under the architectural design category of the arts portion of the Olympics.
What?
Town planning.
Okay, this is when they make the comment of giving a medal just to anyone. Just makes me feel like little kids.
Well, yeah. Well, and the even stranger part is that the silver medal winning plan was for Marine Park in Brooklyn. Wasn't even used.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. Planning the city out. That's kind of weird. How about number 9? Solo synchronized swimming.
Oh my God.
How do you do that?
Okay.
The name itself is contradictory.
Wow.
Who are you synchronized with if you're swimming alone?
Wow.
That's
okay.
So they claim it was that you're going to be synchronized with the music. And last week, last week we talked about, or 2 weeks ago, we talked about the equestrian dressage, which is like the horse jumping and all that kind of shit.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But the dressage is actually, it essentially involves horses learning to dance to the beat of different music, coordinating their specifically prescribed movement perfectly with the music. So I guess you could also call it synchronized equestrian dressage because you're trying to get them to match up with the music. It can look quite silly, which is why it's way more impressive when it's hip hop music. Stunning. Yeah, I tell you, it takes all kinds. Number 7, technically a demonstration event and not an official sport. Hot air ballooning was part of the 1900 Olympic Games. Competitors were judged and earned points on elements like distance, duration, and elevation. Huh?
Okay.
What?
Okay.
That's ridiculous. How
I don't understand.
How about number 6? Underwater swimming. How fun is that to watch? This event wasn't too popular due to the lack of spectator value. But maybe it should make a comeback now that underwater cameras are a thing. Underwater swimming was held over a 60-meter distance with competitors awarded 2 points for every meter swum underwater. Swum.
So should they even have like people come sit there and watch them? I mean, really?
That's just it. Nobody showed up, so they canceled it. How about number 5, tandem bicycle sprint? So back in the day when the Olympics were purely for amateurs, banning all paid professional competitors, tandem bicycle sprints were thrilling to watch and intense for competitors. Going at high speeds around the velodrome is scary enough in a single bike. Just imagine the crash when you're on a tandem bicycle.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're in the top 5. Dun, 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 dun. Number 4, swimming obstacle course.
That's a lot.
In 1900, the French Summer Olympics included swimming obstacle course, just like a normal swimming race, except this one had 3 obstacles, including a pole, climbing, and boats to climb onto and swim under. How about that?
Okay.
The event was held in the river. So in modern times, competitors would probably be using trash, sewage, and disease as their obstacles.
God.
Hell yeah. Number 3, traditional Olympics sometimes sound like an international team building picnic, especially when you consider tug of war. Used to be a popular event. 8-man teams had to pull their opponents 6 feet to win, or to make progress or whoever makes the most progress in 5 minutes.
Okay.
That was number 3. Number 2 is fun as hell to watch. It isn't a casual stroll with race walking, having all the rules and less fun.
What the?
Race walking, number 2.
Wow.
The competitors must keep contact with the ground at all times, keeping the leading leg straight forward and the foot when the foot makes contact with the ground until the leg passes under the body. No wonder they look so silly. What do you think? What do you think the number 1 would be? Number 1 weirdest. Take a wild guess.
I don't even know because this shit's blowing my mind now. Where I'm already hearing it.
It was.
I don't even take it.
It was part of the gymnastics programs in the Olympics in 1896, 1906, 1924, and 1932. Come on, give me a guess. It's in the gymnastics camp.
Just tell me. I can't. I'm just like, no. I'm just sort of dumbfounded by all these things that are competitive.
The number one weirdest Olympic sport of all time is rope climbing.
Really?
Yeah. Competitors needed to climb a suspended vertical rope using their hands and arms. No legs allowed.
Oh, that is hard, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I could never rope climb when I was younger, and I could use my whole body.
It says, makes you wonder if their coaches screamed at them from the ground to make it a full childhood gym class experience. Did you have to do that when you were in high school or in elementary school? Climb the rope, and then you got to climb the pole?
Yeah.
Do you think that in modern era that they'd allow kids to climb the pole? I got to think that would be very offensive to the youth of America.
He said climb a pole. I'm just thinking my mind automatically goes to strippers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like that. Like it goes to strippers. I've seen some good stripper. I've seen some good shows. I can't even talk. Now I'm stuttering too. I see some good shows put on by strippers at the strip club.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting start for these youngsters to get familiar. I don't know that I never made it to the top, I don't think. And that fucking rope, God, who does that?
I do have a question, though. Since we were talking about horses, last week and all that, have you heard of this? And it popped in my head. There's a competitive world of hobby horse. Have you heard about this?
Are they the little ones?
No, this is when people ride around on those sticks that have the horses' heads attached to the top of them.
No, you're looking at
but it's a real thing.
You're
it's a
looking
real
at
thing.
like some sicko website where they are.
It's a real thing. I'm telling you because someone tagged me in it on Facebook a while ago, and I had to look it up. And it's the competitive world of hobby horse, and it's actually done. It says this is done in like Finland. I swear to God, it's a real thing. People compete like running around on these horses.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
I swear
Is it like a race?
It turns out all you need is a stick and a dream. Welcome to the competitive world of hobby horsing. And it's in Finland that it happens, that it takes place.
Talk about starting young on a toy that is never going to go away. Wow, that's crazy. I know I was not aware of it. I know that there's some like in the strange sex world, there's people that are into like that kind of shit, but it's, I didn't know that they were racing.
It says not only is it not a joke, as the Wall Street Journal recently discovered, it's a serious sport with more than 10,000 active competitors in Finland alone.
Wow.
Yes, this is some.
Is there any money in it? Maybe I'll have to pick one up at the Toys R Us.
Right. I'll come watch you. Okay, I'll come cheer you on.
That's ridiculous.
Good story.
I had another news story about 21 stars who are banned from Hollywood and whatever. And it's, there's a bunch of them. There's like Eddie Murphy and Sean William Scott or whatever his name is. And
really?
Julia Stiles.
Eddie Murphy too?
I don't know. This is just some stupid website that doesn't say much. But they show them like in their main acting scene, on the left picture, and then on the right picture it shows them like today in their banned from Hollywood look. And they're all really quite heavy.
Really? Even Eddie Murphy got up there?
Well, he's just looking older. That's all.
He needs to stop having too many, all these kids.
Sarah Michelle Gellar looks like she's been hitting the crack pipe pretty hard. Her eyes are all blackened out. She's like, Charlie Sheen looks like he's been hitting the crack pipe.
Charlie Sheen looks like shit for a long time.
He's in trouble. But what's her name was on there? The gal from Something About Mary?
Oh, Cameron Diaz?
Yeah, it says that her net worth is $150 million.
Holy shit.
So I'd be like,
wow.
I don't care if I'm banned. I'm good. Well,
I remember when she was in The Mask. She was fucking smoking in The Mask. She was super hot.
Well,
I remember that.
Roseanne Barr's on here, but we all know she's banned.
She lost her shit a long time
Scarlett
ago.
Johansson.
Really? I'm surprised with her.
John Travolta, his bald ass head.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of them on there, but it's really just kind of a silly website. It's not worth digging too deep into. So hey, here's another thing that popped up. I've got my eldest son is turning 30 next week. And
my God, congrats.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting situation. So he had texted me and he's like, "Hey, actually my other son just turned 21." So he had texted him And, they're like, hey, what are you doing on your birthday? What are you doing? And so my 30-year-old's going to go to, he's like, I'm going to Utah. Because he's a travel guy. He likes to travel. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Ask him if he's going to Moab because I've got a buddy in Moab who can tour him around the mountains and whatever. And so then I started texting him. I'm like, you going to Moab? He's like, yeah. I said, well, I can hook you up with this dude. He's like, oh, that'd be great. So I'm like, well, how many of you are there so I can make arrangements? And he goes, it's just me. I'm like, you're going to Utah for a week by yourself on your birthday? Like, I don't know what to think about that. He's kind of a loner. He's kind of a loner dude. Yeah. He's got no girlfriend. He's got, whatever. But he's got a good job and whatever. But he's like, yeah, he goes, I'm just going, I'm just going to go walk about. And he goes, I don't have any plans. I have no hotels reserved. I don't have anything. I'm just going to go check it out.
Oh,
so I'm
okay.
Like, oh, shit. I said, you want some company? I can, my schedule's flexible. And he's like, sure. Well, have you ever tried to fly into Salt Lake City?
No.
Give me a break. There's no direct flights, that are available currently because it's, it'd have to leave Tuesday. So I'm doing some research and I'm looking around and like airfare to Colorado is like $150, but airfare to Salt Lake City, which you have to stop in Colorado, is like close to $500.
Holy, there it goes.
So I'm thinking to myself, and then I look and it's like 100 degrees there. It's
it ain't no joke over there in the summertime.
So I'm like, I could probably come out for a couple days. And I'm like, the airfare is ridiculously expensive. And
that sucks.
And he's kind of the kind of dude who'd be like, he won't tell me, but, I don't care if you come out or you don't. Well, so I'm thinking, here's what I'm going to find out what the airfare is, and I'm just going to send that money to him, and he can go out there and cook in the sun by himself. But now I'm kind of like, God, I don't want him hanging by himself on his birthday. Jeez.
Yeah, and that's his 30th birthday, too. That's a big number to turn.
It's so weird. I'm just baffled. So next week I might be on location.
Okay, well, okay.
I might look like you did. I might look like you did 2 weeks ago when you were burnt to a crisp.
I'm going to the Outer Banks next month for my mom's 70th birthday, and I'm like scared to go back onto the beach just because how bad I burnt the first time.
That's in is that North Carolina?
Yeah, and it's like the same situation to you. It's a pain because any fucking airport I had to fly into was going to still be a 2-hour drive from the airport for me to get there. So now I have to fly into Ohio and then drive 8.5 hours with my family in the car the next day to get there. And I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Think of the content for the show, though. Yeah. Huh? Think of the content for the show. Like,
oh my God.
You better bring a notepad with you and start making some notes. I don't, I want to go to North Carolina. It's on the list.
I heard it's gorgeous out there. I looked up. It looks great. I'm excited, but I'm not looking forward to that 8.5 hour drive. I'm not gonna lie,
hell no! Are you taking a little minivan or something?
Cool. We got it. My mom's like, I got a big SUV, so there's like 5 of us. I'm like, great. I just want to get on a plane and go.
Oh God, no way.
So I'm in your same situation. I'm just like, great, but it's her 70th, and I got to be there, and your sister's 30th, so I understand. Like, you definitely should.
I know.
A couple days, just to.
Well, and the whole thing is this. It's like I'm kind of I don't want to say prima donna, but I ain't sleeping on the ground.
You are a prima donna. If you say I'm kind of not, you are.
I'm not sleeping on the ground. I don't sleep at Howard Johnson's.
Oh, you do like glamping, glamour camping. You do glamping.
No, I don't even do that. I do like the Four Seasons or the.
My God, I love it.
Well, it's like, I'm sure my buddy who's down in Moab's like, yeah, dude, we're gonna go tent out in the woods or whatever, and I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm good. I'll be at the Days Inn down the road.
You should bring like one of those memory. So we used to go camping with my dad when I was little. He would bring one of those little foam pads to like lay on top of, just so you could like do that if you. No.
I'll tell you how I tell you how to not have to do that. You just don't put yourself in that environment.
I know.
I told my wife is like, we should go camping. I'm like, I work my ass off to have this house and these cars and air conditioning and a bed. Why do I want to go back in time and sleep on the dirt and listen to some asshole at the campsite next to me who's, way overserved and getting real loud? So I'm like, no. Well, now my wife's new deal is you know what an Airstream is? Like,
what is?
It's a pull behind camper for your
Oh, okay,
vehicle,
that's right.
But it looks like a silver
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So she wants to rent one of those and go, oh, I'll do that. Like,
okay, that's cool.
As long as I'm not sleeping on the ground and I don't have to assemble shit when I get there.
You probably one of the guys that's in the hotel room has the cucumber slices over his friggin' eyes. Yes, pinkies up. I'm like, oh my God,
I'll probably go hang with my kid for a couple days, and then I'll hit a spa day on the way back to the airport.
I'm like, you look so refreshed while I was at the spa. I'm like, I'm not surprised
to get a little,
talking about this.
Well, you go to Salt Lake City, they should have like some kind of salt bath or something with, maybe a manicure, pedicure, get everything cleaned up. Well,
I heard it's a little bougie out in Salt. They actually have a new franchise for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City now too. So I heard it's sort of bougie out there.
Christ, you are something else. Oh, I don't know.
Anyways.
So really what I got to do is get out there and try and find him a gal. Actually, what I'm thinking is if I get him out there to Moab and get him hooked up with my buddy is a tour guide. He's a tour guide in the mountains. He's got all these licenses that he can drive out into the mountains and give people tours. And you know who he gives tours to?
Who?
Artists.
Oh, cool.
You know who these artists are painting and drawing? Naked chicks.
I was going to say nudes. Yep, nudes. There you go.
So he's hanging out with all these naked chicks, driving through the mountains. I'm like, I'm 30. That's where I want to be. I got nothing tying me down, so I got to hook these two up and see what becomes of it. Because he's 30. Jesus, let's go. Not that I'm eager to.
That's a good number. He has to go. He has to do it right.
Do something. I don't know. We'll find out. Stay tuned because it'll be interesting to find out what exactly happens. And then next week's show, we've got a new sponsor coming on board, so that's exciting. We've got hopefully some comedians and some more guests coming. But what do you got planned for the weekend? Anything big? When's the trip to the When's the trip to the Outer Banks?
It's I'm leaving July 8th to fly into Ohio. Then we leave July 9th, and then we're leaving on my mom's actual birthday to drive there like 7 a.m. So I'm just hoping
where are you flying into Ohio?
I'm flying into Pittsburgh because my mom's on the borderline of Pittsburgh and PA. So she's like, it's closer for her to go to Pittsburgh to pick me up than it is for her to go to Cleveland.
Well, you can always swing down to Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
Take the tour.
I've never been to Cincinnati.
The tour. Well, Jesus, what better way to go?
I know. I've never been. People are like, I've lived there. And I'm like, I've never been there, honestly.
Well, when you get there, you better turn the radio on because there's some pretty bitching commercials coming out about a little tour I'm aware of.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
I'm telling you, it'll be good. But I want a full report on the old Outer Banks trip.
I definitely will. I definitely will.
In the mountains. Hey, we got to wrap this thing up. We're running long. Even though you compacted your story into a minute and a half,
that fast talking.
We only have so much time. But then once I go in and slow it down, this thing will be like an hour and a half. Once it goes into like when you put your podcast on 1.5 or 2, it's like that's what they're gonna have to do for you. That's what they'll have to do for your segment to like get it to where they can understand it.
I've always been told that even at a young age, my teachers or even my mom, like, you have to slow down. I said, I don't even realize I talk as fast as I do, I swear. So,
yeah, well, we're going to have some homework, and it's going to involve slowing down.
Okay.
So until next week, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll talk then. Thanks, Kristen.
Bye.
That's it. That's the end.
That's a wrap.
Read the shtick.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends. If you'd like to reach out, you can use the studio line at 612-504-6500 or by email, thedkprojectpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, there's always social media at the DK Project Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.